All right, we're going to look at the lesson on classifying triangles. This is aligned to 5G3 and 5G4. Our first part of this lesson is all review vocabulary. So students practice these terms in 4th grade, but we haven't seen them thus far this year, so we're going to go ahead and review them. An acute angle is less than 90 degrees, then actually have students like sketch in an acute angle. An obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees, and then so have students sketch in what that angle would look like. And then a right angle is 90 degrees. Have them sketch in that angle and then draw a box to represent that it's 90 degrees. We'll also review types of lines. Again, these are all reviewed from 4th grade. Lines that are parallel are lines that are the same distance apart. So if they were to continue on, they would not cross or touch each other. What students did in 4th grade is actually take their index finger and their middle finger and kind of like make like what would look like a ditto, like pulling them down at the same time. They would, and then they would make this noise that sound like and so that's how they showed that something was parallel, that two lines are parallel. We're also going to say that they're going in the same direction, right? So because they're going in the same direction, we're going to draw these little arrows on top of them. So that shows that these two lines are going in the same direction and that they're the same distance apart. Perpendicular lines are lines that cross or meet to form right angles. So again, we'll draw both lines crossing and lines meeting, line segments meeting, or rays meeting rather, to show that they make a 90-degree angle and draw our boxes in there. These terms they should also be familiar with. A polygon is a closed figure made of line segments that do not cross each other. So what we'll have to fill in is triangles, 3 sides, 3 angles, and then show them where we have the 3 sides. We can count 1, 2, 3, show them where we have 3 angles, 1 angle, 2 angles, 3 angles. Quadrilateral, same thing, 4 sides, 4 angles, pentagon, and hexagon. So that's all review. The new information today is that we're talking about triangles and their attributes. So an attribute is a characteristic of a figure like side lengths or angle measures. Attributes are also called properties. You need to be familiar with both of these terms because it's the language of the standard. Triangles can be classified by angle measure and side length. So first we're going to look at these triangles and say, well, all 3 of these triangles, what they have in common is they each have acute angles. An acute triangle is a triangle with 3 acute angles. A right triangle is a triangle with exactly 1 right angle. And so here we can see that this is actually showing a 90-degree angle, and this has a box in the corner to show that it's a 90-degree angle. And again, like it's exactly 1 right angle. An obtuse triangle is a triangle with exactly 1 obtuse angle. So here we can see that this is 130 and this is 110. A triangle cannot have more than 1 right angle or more than 1 obtuse angle, and this is why. We need to show that if we had a figure that has 3 sides and 2 right angles, then it wouldn't be able to be closed, meaning that it can't be a polygon. Same thing with an obtuse. If we had more than 1 obtuse angle and 3 sides only, we can't close this figure, so it can't be a polygon. Now let's look at example 2. We're going to classify these by side length. So a scalene triangle is a triangle with no congruent sides. And so we can see here, this is 9, 13, and 14, so we can see that there are no congruent sides. We can also show this using tick marks. So if the tick marks, we have 1, 2, and 3, that shows that these 3 side lengths are all different. An isosceles triangle is a triangle with at least 2 congruent sides. And that word at least is going to be really important. So here we can see that these 2 sides, because the tick marks, are congruent. If they have 2 congruent sides, it also means that they have 2 congruent angles. We could have a right isosceles triangle. That's an important point to make. We can have a right scalene triangle. We can also have a right isosceles triangle. Finally, an equilateral triangle is a triangle with 3 congruent sides and congruent angles. So here we can show with our tick marks that all 3 sides are congruent. Here we see that all 3 sides are congruent. And it's important that we know that each angle is also acute, right? So you can't have a right equilateral triangle because all 3 angles need to be the same. If you have 3 90-degree angles, we can't close that figure to be a triangle. Note that all equilateral triangles are also isosceles triangles because isosceles triangles have to have at least 2 congruent sides and equilateral triangles have 3. Then we answer these 2 questions. All triangles are polygons, so all polygons must be triangles. We have to decide if that statement is true or false and then explain why. And then example 4, all equilateral triangles are isosceles, so all isosceles triangles must be equilateral triangles. Again, determining if that's true or false, and then explaining why. The rest of the work looks very similar, and we'll have students do this in partners and then move to the independent practice.